Previously on JunkDrawerMom.
Obviously, we've gone through some struggles and things, but the beauty of that is we've gone through them together. And that's one of the things that I love about us being married so young, is the fact that we have had the opportunity to grow together. And so that now brings us into the parenting season. This is a motherhood channel, and parenting is a big part of our lives right now. So as I mentioned before, we had kids about after 3 years of marriage. Yep, so we had kids at 24. We now have 4 of them, four little jokers, 3 boys, 1 girl, and they drive us insane almost every single day.
Factuals.
And so I just wanted to talk about the adjusting and, how that affected our marriage, our family life, our family dynamic.
That was a good word you used. It is an adjustment, not to just having children, because we wanted to have children. I used to talk about having 6 kids, but then I think about, man, the devil was after me. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. But honestly, if I had, I don't even know. Let me just leave that alone, because these kids, man. But anyway, it's PTSD sometimes. But what the heck was I talking about, babe? Oh, adjusting, right? So I had to just come to the place where once you bring kids into the situation, you really do lose a lot more of your own individualism. And I had to learn to be comfortable with that and settle into I'm a family man. Because I didn't really know what that was. I didn't really have that modeled out for me. So that was all a learning process to realize this is my tribe, this is my family. We're doing our own family traditions. I'm going to the park and I am a dad. 100% of the time I am a dad. And settling into that, mentally and emotionally, this is who you are, and embrace this. And I had an older gentleman, and he encouraged me. Shout out to my guy, Ron Bell. But he told me, he said, man, look, man, the days of going out with your homeboys and doing all this other stuff, it's not that it is completely finished, but he's like, you are a father. You are a husband. Home is where you need to be. And man, was he ever right. So I'm thankful for that advice. But that word adjusting, it was that for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially for, the mom who carries the child, that adjusting is not only emotionally, but it's also physically. It's mentally, because you feel this urgency, or I guess this burden, this is my responsibility. The dad's here, but it's my responsibility, bro. I gotta work it out. And so, especially for me having anxiety around being a good mom, it was very stressful. And here again, he's not a mom, he's a dad. So it's having to adjust to him not understanding, but then also for me to be able to talk to him about it and him empathize, with me and to encourage me. I think it was huge. I think it's very huge. And it did not happen right away. This is me. I had, this is another stage of growth, of vulnerability. We're getting it together with our relationship, but now there's this whole new world of being responsible for another human being. You have to make sure that this person grows up to be decent, clean, educated. It's a lot of pressure. And so, speaking from a motherhood perspective, I do believe that for sure the mental and emotional challenge is huge, but then also the physical. How much extra skin I have is not a game, and I
gained weight to help her with that, so she didn't feel alone.
I think, especially for me, I had some fairly easy pregnancies and deliveries, but I think about like those of you who have had C-sections or had complications with your labor and delivery and like the trauma to your body that occurs. It's hard to deal with, and I think it takes time to overcome. It takes time to discover like a new self-love, to discover like, okay, this is me now. You know, a lot of people call stretch marks their what are they called? Tiger stripes. You know, like these are my marks. These are my warrior marks, and like just owning that, and realizing like I'm 32, okay? I'm not 21 anymore. So no, my body is not gonna look the same. Does that mean that that's bad? No, you know, but it's different.
Yeah, I think it's, definitely learning to embrace this new evolved version of yourself. You know, you are now a mother. Like that is who you are. That is a significant part of who you are. It's not the totality of it, but that is a huge part of who you are. You know, me being now a father, it's like this is a huge part of who I am, and I pride myself on being a very active and involved father. I don't want to be the father that just leaves all of the education, up to my wife, or leave. No, like I want to be involved emotionally with my children as well. I don't want to just provide for them and just be like, well, I provided this for you. No, I want to be there for them and nurture them emotionally. So we hug a lot in our house. We ask our kids questions. How does that make you feel? How do you feel? Sometimes they tick us off and I don't even want to hear them breathe. Go somewhere to the furthest corner of this house and don't move. But all of that is evolution. And I think we have to find beauty in that journey, because it is beautiful. And I think, if you stick with it, when you look back, you'll go, man, those were some cool times, and I'm glad we just settled in it and didn't fight it, didn't resist it. We just settled in it,
I mean, we kind of had no choice because we planned the first one, kind of. I was like, I'm gonna come off birth control. Less than a month later, I was pregnant. The rest of them, they were all surprises. So it's just like, okay, here we go. We're doing this, But I think one thing that's important to note, I lost my train of thought. What were you just talking about?
Find it.
I'm finding it.
It's right here.
Finding it.
There it is.
Really? Here it is. I found it.
See, told you it works.
Having a child by far does not address issues that you have with your spouse. What it does do though is it makes you confront whether you have issues within yourself or if you have issues with your spouse. So, don't think like, oh, we're gonna have a kid, everything's gonna be better because we're just gonna be focused on them. No, because the methods of parenting from what he was trying to do versus what I was trying to do, sometimes they were different. Realize
what was it about me, huh? Let's expound on that.
Man, they ate. Their diaper's not dirty. Just leave them. Just let them cry. I was like, dang, you want to do them like that?
No, not all the time, but I'm just saying.
You said what?
I'll be looking at her fitting to die because she's sleep deprived, and it's just like, I'm like, listen, man, you done fed them children, you bathed them, you changed their diapers. Like, crying ain't never killed nobody. So if you dealing with me, you gonna cry. Oh, it's time. She went out on her own, boy, them kids be crying. Like, hey, turn the TV up, turn the music on. Like, hey, work it out. You gonna be, and listen, our kids are all loud.
They are.
To this day.
If you know us personally, then you know.
Their voices carry.
Yes.
But you know why? Because I let them cry.
They get it.
I let him
because
cry.
He's loud too.
Let them cry. That's a good crying, boy. It's a lung development, cardiovascular. You know what I mean?
So, but yeah, I think, just realizing too, like, and this is something I will say for all the moms, if you have a spouse understanding and being okay with the fact that your spouse is not going to do everything the same way as you, but it's still going to get done. And that's what actually matters. Like, so don't get frustrated. And it's like you ask them like, hey, can you make dinner? And they make them a half a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and some yogurt and some pretzels and be like, they're good. I'm like, well, no, I wanted you to like make them dinner, not just like.
I'm from the hood, and we went to bed eating peanut butter and jelly many times. We went to bed eating cereal many times. So look, my kids, I don't know, man. I need help, y'all.
But I'm saying they still ate though.
I think these kids.
Oh my gosh.
Have an agenda secretly where their agenda is to drive us crazy. So I'm like, oh, you want to do that, huh? You want to drive me crazy? I can meet you crazy for crazy. And I do. I meet them there. I meet them in the space of crazy. Oh, I can do this here too. I can do.
So anyway, you know, but the thing is, like, they still ate. You know, you asked them to feed them. They still ate. Like, just
the
let it go.
fruit of the vine from the jelly.
It's okay. It's too far. That's too far. But that is very important. I believe that, like, or you ask your spouse to, you know, clean up or, you know, get them dressed or whatever the case may be. They might not do it the way that you would do it, but it's still getting done, and just relinquishing some of that control, especially if you're a new mom, because there's, again, all of this anxiety and like just these thoughts, like you have to care for this person, and this, you know, you're asking your spouse to help, but it's not you, you know, and so being able to overcome that challenge, I think is. And
I think it's learning to forgive quickly. Like, you know, when you have kids, man, you don't have time to be all, you know, at each other's throats or you know, just kind of not talking to each other. So it's like, hey, you got to learn to forgive quickly and move forward, because your children, like our children, they'll get in trouble. We'll correct them, and it's like nothing ever happened. Right. 5 minutes, you know, and we're still dealing with all of the energy that was going on inside of us. But it's just like, you got to learn to just forgive, move on, or just do what. Remember, you're a family. You are one team, one unit. And if we all win, we all win, you know. So that's the goal. We want to win as a family. Mm-hmm. So you do whatever it takes to do that.
Yeah. Having kids too, I think, reveals how selfish you really are.
Facts.
100%.
Yeah. There were times, man, where I knew, and dads, I'm just going to say this is our secret. It may not be that big of a secret to all the moms, but usually the rule is if you smelt it first, you got to change it. Boy, there would be times I'd be like, I don't smell anything, huh? What? I smell potpourri, right? But no, that diaper is reeking. And I just be like, man, I hope she smells that so she can get up here. And that's just trifling. It really is, but it be like that sometimes. But I make it up in different ways. Like, you know, hey, I did a lot of cooking early on in our marriage because of her work schedule. I do a lot of cleaning. We do whatever we need to do to help each other when we need to help each other. And just being cool to do that.
Yeah, and you know, that's one of the things we probably should have mentioned earlier, was like trying to find ways to outserve each other was like one of the things that we purposed to do. Once we were like, okay, we need to work through this. We need to like come together. And that was one of the things, like, don't be sitting back like, well, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, you know, they didn't do the dishes, they didn't put the food away. Like, no, we're gonna go out of our way to serve each other. And that really helps. And you see I can see him grinding. You know, he comes home from work and he's like, I'm gonna come right in, and you know, he won't empty the dishwasher because he hates emptying the dishwasher. But if it's empty, he's gonna put the dishes in the dishwasher.
Emptying the dishwasher sucks, man.
Yeah.
I'll put them in there.
Yeah.
But who wants to empty the dishwasher?
Yeah. So now that's a chore that our kids do because, you know, they're old enough to do it. I can't stand it.
Empty it as long as they don't break the daggone dishes.
I know, bro.
Lord have mercy. They break everything, by the way.
Yeah.
90% of everything.
That's another story for another day.
I'm not even bringing it up. We love our children, by the way.
We really do.
So you know. We just can't stand them sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Next time on Junk Drawer Mom. Having the stigma of sex being inappropriate and just not normalized like in its marriage context, like was horrible, you know, for me. So I'm coming in with all these expectations, and it was not what I thought at all.